Hi, David here at Spite, here to drop another video that will hopefully be informational, educational, and maybe even inspirational. Usually right here I drop a little commercial for Spite, but I really want to just dive into this conversation, so we'll leave the commercials for the end. You know, it's Pride Month, and so I want to talk about bullying with colors. That's the title of this video, Bullying with Colors. Pride Month means that the LGBTQ plus community gets to step out and really shine, and we see lots of pride marches and just lots of videos and interactive discussions where the LGBTQ plus community gets to express who they are and how they love and really be proud of how they were created. This month also brings out a lot of right-wing nut jobs and crazy Christians who want to interject and talk about things they have no understanding about. Recently, I was watching a video on social media where there was this older American evangelical man who was berating a young homosexual couple at a pride march. The actual altercation wasn't recorded, unfortunately, but they began to interview this man as to what was so offensive and why he chose to kind of go bully these people, this young homosexual couple. The American evangelical man stated, and this really blew me away, he said he was offended by the flag that they were carrying. He felt like it was mocking his faith because God gave the rainbow to Christians. Yes, he really said that. God gave the rainbow to Christians, so the rainbow belongs just to Christians, apparently. But something he said really struck a chord with me. He said he felt persecuted by that flag, by the misuse of that flag. He felt persecuted. That's a strong word. He said that this is a Christian nation and that the faith of Christians should be honored, and that flag represents Christians and God's promise and not that community. Ooh, that burned me. I started thinking about another use of the word persecuted. It's actually in this little book called the Bible. Now, Christians believe that in the Gospel of Matthew, chapters 5 through 7, essentially this is where Jesus lays down the basic foundation of what Christianity truly should look like. He actually begins that sermon with what Christians refer to as the Beatitudes or the blessings. That's where we hear stuff like, blessed are the meek, blessed are the poor in spirit, blessed are the peacemakers. And it's interesting, at the end of those Beatitudes, Jesus says, blessed are you when you are mocked and reviled and persecuted for my name's sake, for yours is the kingdom of heaven. This is where this disconnect happens within American evangelicalism and true Christianity. Americans believe that America is a Christian nation and we deserve respect. And Jesus seems to think, if you feel persecuted, pray for that person. Love your enemies. Pray when you're persecuted by somebody. Feel blessed. Feel happy that somebody hates that you believe differently than they do. Because you are not from this world. You are going to inherit this kingdom life. And I truly believe the kingdom of heaven is not this like place you go to. It's a way of life. It's a mentality. It's living in that meekness and being a peacemaker and forgiving our neighbors and turning the other cheek. That's the huge disconnect. But this man, because he's an American evangelical and he thinks that this is a Christian nation, he chose to bully this poor couple just because they love differently than he does. It made me think about times I've bullied with colors. As a pastor, as an American evangelical Christian, I was very familiar with these colors. If you were raised in the church, you're very familiar with these colors. It's the pathway to salvation. Dark is sin and it's evil, and we need the red blood of Jesus Christ to save us so we can be white as snow and pure, and then we grow like a green grass into better people, and then someday we get the gold, which is heaven. Now, I was raised in this, and I began to teach it in my pastoral years. I would teach this to young children until one day this older Caucasian, she was in her 70s at the time, very wealthy woman, very wise woman, she came up to me and she said, David, why are you bullying these children with these colors? I was obviously offended because I'm arrogant, and I just thought, what are you talking about? I'm right. This is perfect. I'm doing the Lord's work. How am I bullying people with colors? And she just said, I want you to look at those colors from the American perspective. This is a 75-year-old woman, I believe. She was in her mid-70s. Regardless, she says, Gold. In America, what does gold mean? Gold is wealth. We try to win the gold. If all American money goes to waste, gold is what's going to hold up. We wear gold, bracelets, watches, rings, earrings to display some sort of wealth and success. And she said, I wish you could have seen the faces of these young African American girls sitting in the front row as you described how black is bad, black is evil. We don't want to be black. We need to be white in order to get the gold. I thought she was being silly. I mean, I'm not even trying to sound woke. This was something this older lady taught me. And I didn't want to believe her because I wanted to be right. This is something I was brainwashed with my whole life. And so I had a worker that had been very close to these two young African American girls, and I just had her kind of probe them lightly, like, how did you feel about that lesson? And I was shocked. I really was shocked to hear that they really did feel uncomfortable with it. They felt like the pastor was saying, black is bad, white is good. If you want to be successful, stop being black, start being white. I was bullying with colors. I remember this lady just telling me the gospel, if you truly believe it, it's so simple, that it's a great way of life. And you don't have to use colors. You don't have to bully these children and make them feel bad using colors so that they can feel loved. Now, the point of the story is bullying. We don't just bully with colors. I watched this happen on both ends. If you have a faith, great. Stop bullying people to believe like you do. If you're an atheist, that's great. Stop making fun of people who still have some stupid, silly faith. Whatever you believe, whatever's working for you, that's getting you through this life, use it, live it, love it, but stop bullying. Let's live in a society where we have freedom of speech, where we have freedom to love who we want to love, and where we have freedom to believe like we want to believe, without altercation. I hope you have a spite-filled day, and I want you to always, 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 please, think at all costs.
Nigel loves